All right, y'all. Another unsuccessful sneaky link. So I'm starting a podcast. Yep, you heard it here first. I'm outing all of you niggas. Hello, my name is Jaylenice, and this is Before the Shift. Welcome to my podcast. Now, here is where I will probably be outing you guys. You know what? But don't even take it like that. But if I use you as an example, you can't be mad. Will I use your full government name? I don't know. You know what? Let me not even do that before I get a lawsuit. But don't be offended if I say the truth and nothing but the truth. No, this podcast won't just be about me talking about men or talking about everybody that wronged me. You know how like when men get wronged by females, so they make a podcast? You know that trend that went around during COVID? Yeah, it's kind of like that, but the female version. Except for I'm talking about everything on here. I'm laying it all out on the table, full, raw, uncut, because honestly, that's just who I am. So why not just serve that to social media? Now, the meaning behind the title, I chose Before the Shift because, not gonna lie, I wanted to write a book ever since I was 16 years old, and I wanted it to be called Before the Shift because at the time I got my first job about 10 years ago. I called it Before the Shift because I just wanted a raw and uncut version of my experiences, what I've been through, how I kind of relate everything to life moving forward, how I use my experiences to propel me forward. I think there's just so much you can learn when you're just intuitive within your own life and you kind of take everything as a learning experience. Hence why I said I got dubbed by a situationship. It's fine. It wasn't even a situationship. A sneaky link. A sneaky link. And I know what you're thinking. Me? Now, this is only episode 1. I do plan to talk about everything like I stated before. I just think now was the perfect time because I am at a place in my life where things finally seem stationary. And if you know me personally, then you know my life has never really been stationary. It's always been like, I've always been moving, I've always been here, I've always been there, I've always been getting a new job or trying to get a new money venture to make more money because I love money and the world revolves around money. It's kind of crazy. So that is just my current placement. And I also realized that I learned this through a friend, that I have a very defensive tone of speaking. And I mean that by saying is that I'm just, like I said, I'm curious. Like I remember, and I noticed this because I remember my friend saying to me in a car while we were just sitting by the water, and she's like, you know what, Jay? I've been really happy lately. And like, you know, a normal friend would be like, oh, I'm so happy for you. Like, I love to hear that. Me, I was like, why? And that seemed so crazy because I was like, maybe I shouldn't have started it like that, but why? Like, I just have always been so curious. I always want to know the why behind things. Of course, I congratulated her. I'm so happy that my friends are finally happy in life. But that just led me to notice how, like, curious I am. I think curious is the word. I'm gonna whip out my Webster thesaurus after this because if I say curious one more time, I'm gonna end this. I just think I have a lot that I can give the world, especially with my form of logic, and especially like in normal conversation that I have with all of my friends. I have a friend who's a therapist. I have a friend who we've been in literally like a 12-year friendship with like a little 4-year hiatus in between. And I can't wait to have her on my podcast. I'm just so excited to show you guys how smart all of my friends are and the conversations that we have and how like substantial they are. Like they're so, when I talk with my friends, I swear the amount of epiphanies and realizations that we have within one 20-minute conversation is really kind of crazy. And I've been just eager to share that with the world for a very long time. So a few of those guests in question would be, for starters, Nyasha, my best friend. You guys have known her on this channel for years now. Me and her have always just had a very special relationship. Like we get each other. We've never argued in life. Like we always just have debates or discussions, and we love to talk and communicate. And I think that was the one thing that saved our relationship, because when we did decide to reconnect with each other, we just had a long and thought out conversation, and we just communicated for like 6 hours straight on where we were in life, why we did what we did, how the separation was beneficial for both of us. So it's kind of insane. And then we have my dad. Oh, my father. He is another guest that I want to have on here because I feel like I get a lot of my natural just thought processes from that man, and I don't want to admit it all the time, but he is half crazy and half enlightened. Now just imagine those two coexisting within one 50-year-old man. He's 49, but he's like right there. So I don't know. He has such a deep introspection. And just a little take on my dad is when I was younger, people used to be like, oh, like, what's your favorite channel? And of course, like Disney, Nickelodeon was cool. But my dad used to make me watch the History Channel. But it was to the point where I got older and then all I enjoyed watching was the History Channel. Like, I'd go to sleep watching Natural History Channel videos because they soothe me. But he is just so, like, for someone that didn't go to college, yes, my dad did not go to college, he is just so in tune with life, with the world with the world around him, with people. And I call him the OG because he very much is an OG kind of guy. He just has a very old school way of looking at things sometimes. And I love the debates that me and him have personally because I like to show him that, things have changed, but his core values and his core thoughts on certain things, I think a lot of today's youth need to hear. And then we have my bestie, Fran. Now, I love Fran. I have been telling her about this podcast for a minute now, and she is a licensed therapist. Get at her. Like, she is just so... And I think I want her on this podcast because for me, I've always grown up spiritually in tune. And when we first had our conversations when she was going to school to be a therapist, I like that she gave me terms and terminology to things that I was doing my whole life, but I didn't really have like a distinct definition on the things that I was doing, a detailed explanation on what I was experiencing. And she kind of just gave me so much insight to that. And I can't thank her enough. And the funny thing about that is when we worked at our old job together, way before we became besties, like locked in besties, I was always like, you know what? Like, I never saw myself going to therapy, but you make me want to go to therapy. And I was like, Fran, can you be my therapist? She was like, no, because that's unethical. So you want to know what I did? I made her my best friend. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Tea for you. I'm kidding. That's my girl. At the end of the day, she getting the tea whether she wants it or not, and it don't gotta be on the clock. Cause that's bestie. That's bestie. And those are just one of a few of the many people that I do hope to invite on this podcast in the near future that I'm very, very excited about. And just can't wait. I cannot wait. And again, I'm going to be speaking on my spiritual practices on this podcast. I'm going to be speaking on my relationship with self over the past 10 years. I'm going to be speaking on manifestation, spirituality, different practices that I do, how I lost 100 pounds. I just think all of those are interconnected. So I just can't wait to share that with you guys on here. And I hope that you can't wait either. So I'm so excited. And I remember someone told me that I love to yap. If you have me on TikTok, you know that I am a yapper. I love to talk for no reason. So this is very much just a safe space for me, more probably than it is for you. So leave the questions that you have down below. Don't be afraid to be as unhinged as you want. I'm pretty unhinged, you'll realize sooner than later. But I really just want to lay out my story and my personal experiences and give them to you guys in a way where you can benefit from them, where you can learn from them, where you can gain from them. Like, I'm just so excited. And I think just my influence alone through Instagram, through TikTok. And I remember back in the day on Instagram, I was much more spiritually open on Instagram. And nothing really shied me away from that. I just think I became very personal with my life through regular social media. But on here, oh baby, I'm letting it all out on here. Like I said, I won't give government names, but if the shoe fits, I'm so excited to connect with you guys. I literally have 5 episodes written up already. Like, we're good to go, but you can leave comments down below on what you want to see from me, what you want to hear from me. I'll leave my socials down below as well so you can connect with me. But I will end this podcast off with a question. And I honestly think I will do this with all of my podcasts, just because I want to make this a very interactive space, a very safe space for me, for you. And I'll answer the questions as well, but I want to hear your responses down below. And all you have to do is put a Q with a dash, and then I'll know that you're answering the question. But the question for today is, what is one core memory that changed the way you show up for yourself? And honestly, you would think I have the answer to that, but I don't have the answer to that. Let's see. One core memory that changed the way you show up for yourself. I think moving out on my own showed me that I not only have to show up for myself financially, but I have to show up for myself emotionally. And I think for a while that wasn't something I was ready for. So the fact that I had roommates to kind of lean on and balance my emotions on from time to time made things a lot better. So I would say, yeah, being dependent on myself emotionally and not always having someone there who can be an ear, So that changed the way I show up for myself. I think I started journaling a little more. I think I started prioritizing working out then at that point in my life. There was a lot of things that changed in my life when I moved out on my own. But yeah, thank you guys. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, I love you. Thank you so much. And be prepared to see a Before the Shift episode every Friday. And if you can guess what next week's topic is about, leave it down below. But I love you guys. Bye. That was so fun.